Hey, it's Tristan from www.primaledgehealth.com, and doing a quick little video on a common problem that people run into, especially when they're doing a long-term weight loss, fat loss, which you should be focused on, plan, and that is painting yourself into a corner through over-restriction of calories. The metabolic adaptations that occur will put you into a stall, and then you don't know where to go from there. So let me explain. Let me give you a little anecdotal situation. Say somebody had 100 pounds to lose. A woman like 5'3" or 4", got 100 pounds to lose, gets on a ketogenic diet. One of the best ways that you can go about losing a significant amount of body fat long term would be using a ketogenic diet. Cut out those carbohydrates, your hunger is going to be much lower, your inflammation is going to go down, you're going to lose a bunch of water weight at first, so that's encouraging to people. And with your hunger so low, your satiety high, the beneficial effects, the hunger reducing effects, the muscle sparing effects of ketones, ketogenic diet is a very good way to go about that. So say somebody's got 100 pounds to lose, get on a keto diet, they lose like 70 pounds. 70 pounds in just like maybe 6-7 months. Great job, significant amount of body fat lost, but they hit a stall. Might ask this individual, all right, well, what have you been doing? How much have you been eating? You look at the history of what they've done. And every time they've kind of hit a little stall, which is normal, it's normal no matter how much weight you got to lose, it's not going to be straight linear. You might wake up one day and suddenly you're 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 pounds heavier. How did this happen? Well, if you had a little bit more carbohydrates the day before, if you ate more sodium the day before, if you were stressed, didn't get a good night's sleep, there's many different things that could make your body hold a little bit more water. So weight loss is not linear. Something I always got to remind people. It is not just straight down, race to the finish line. It's a little bit of like a sine wave. It goes up and down a little bit. So sometimes people will think they've hit a stall. So the next thing people want to do, decrease calories. So you might cut out 20 grams of fat from your daily menu. Eventually, after doing this several times, somebody's metabolism will adapt to the new intake. As your body fat goes lower, as your body gets smaller, and when people lose lean muscle mass, if they're dieting a little bit too aggressively, not getting sufficient protein, not doing resistance training, your metabolism is going to slow down. So what would have been maintenance calories for you before is not going to be maintenance calories for you anymore. It's going to be a little bit lower. So you might think, oh, got to restrict my calories more. You keep restricting, pulling out fats, carbs, protein, whatever. And a lot of people get into intermittent fasting, start using that, so they'll be eating in this really tiny window. For instance, somebody might be eating one meal a day at like 9 p.m. at night, and that meal would consist of like 30-40 grams of protein, super low in protein, and I don't know, 60-70 grams of fat. Because the hunger's so low throughout the day, the metabolism's so slow, it's people paint themselves into a corner. So when your metabolism is slowed down so much, you restrict your calories so much, you're kind of just screeching your metabolism to a halt, stressing your body out even more, not giving it sufficient lipids, not getting the DHA you need, not getting the lipids you need to actually replace your cell membranes, to create the hormones that you need, not getting enough protein to create hormones, to rebuild muscle tissue, to support lean muscle mass. Metabolism is going to slow down. You painting yourself into a corner. You don't know what to do. So, to avoid this situation, first of all, when you hit a stall, realize that maybe if you just wait it out, you might see another drop. Sometimes it's just water. Sometimes you'll hold on to 3, 4, 5 pounds of water after you've already lost the fat. Then a week later, it just whooshes off. Don't know why it happens, but it happens very often. Another thing you can do when you hit a stall like that, don't just restrict your calories. Sometimes, if you've been painting yourself into a corner like that, you're going to need to increase your caloric intake, increase your protein intake, increase your fats if you're on a ketogenic diet, increase your carbohydrates if you're on a carbohydrate-based diet. And you need to increase your caloric intake to speed up your metabolism, to correct leptin levels, Because when you're dieting leptin, which is a satiety hormone, which is, I mean, leptin is huge in dieting. So you want to look into some of the research done on leptin levels during aggressive dieting, during long-term dieting. You might just need to get your leptin levels up. So increasing your calories for a few days, for a few weeks, stabilizing, being happy at the weight you're at, letting your body adjust to its new weight, giving it about maintenance calories for where you're at, can be really helpful in upregulating certain hormone production, increasing your metabolism, so then you can lose weight more. Some people get obsessed with the scale. They get obsessed with the weight loss. They want to see progress every single day. They get desperate for it. So you got to get your mind in check. It didn't take you 3 months to gain all that weight. It took you years, decades for most of us. It took you a long, long time to get where you didn't want to be. So it's not going to just come off magically all in a few months. Don't paint yourself into a corner. Don't drop your calories too much. Sometimes if you want progress, you'll have to increase your caloric intake, increase your metabolism. So you want to support your lean muscle mass by giving sufficient protein. You don't want to cut your protein way, 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 way low. You don't want to restrict yourself into a corner to where you don't know where to go. So when you run into a little stall, the first thing you do should not be just to reduce calories. Sometimes you got to just stabilize at that weight. Anyways, plenty more content to come. You can check this out at www.primaledgehealth.com. We've got podcasts, articles, lots of stuff coming. If you want coaching, hit us up on the coaching section. I've been actually gradually gaining weight on a keto diet lately. Gained about 5 pounds in the last, it must be, 5 pounds in the last like 3 months. Now, of course, some of that's water. Some of that is fat. Yes, you can gain fat on a ketogenic diet, but I've been steadily building muscle. Staying pretty lean, still pretty lean, gaining muscle in a ketogenic diet context. Anyways, don't paint yourself into a corner by restricting your calories too much. Don't paint yourself into a corner. Don't hurt yourself when you're trying to help yourself. It can be very damaging long term to restrict calories way, way, way too much for too long. Paint yourself into a corner, mess up your hormones. Not going to be good for you long term. All right, I'll see you next time at www.primaledgehealth.com.